You know I would absolutely kill you if you ever did something like that, right?
You gonna beat me up? I better back off.
Do you want to see the winner fight Tom?
The winner should absolutely fight Tom.
Things just got personal. Jon Jones brings the storm of threats, and Tom Aspinall isn't having it. In a hot live interview, the heavyweight phenom shoots back with unbridled emotion and unapologetic truth. Jon Jones recently came up with some heated comments directed at Tom Aspinall, obviously trying to unsettle the emerging star and prove his superiority. Although he didn't hold back, it was clear what the intent was: to intimidate and unsettle. The message was less about inviting conversation and more about sending a warning. Whether or not Aspinall takes the bait or uses it as motivation remains to be seen, but this much is certain: the tension between these two heavyweights is heating up quickly.
You know I would absolutely kill you if you ever did something like that, right?
On a recent podcast with Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, Tom Aspinall remained calm but made one point clear: he sees right through Jon Jones's games. With a quiet confidence, he alluded to the fact that deep down, Jones knows precisely what he's dealing with. Aspinall didn't have to say much to make the point. He thinks Jones realizes the genuine threat he represents, and that's why the mind games have begun.
I honestly can see John's point of view. I get it.
Yep.
I get it. It's just about the title for me.
Yep.
I just want the title, that's it.
Yep.
Does nothing else really matter. Now, I've been almost a year inactive with no prospects of anything apart from weight.
Yeah.
So now is actually a little bit more of a tricky time for me mentally than it was then. I can tell you some stuff about the money situation, but I'm not sure I can say it on camera, so I will tell you that after. I think I'm a bad matchup for him, to be honest. And I think he knows it.
My opinion, I think it's a huge risk.
But in a subsequent press conference, Jon Jones gave an answer that quickly became branded as arrogant by fans. Swinging with characteristic bravado, he dismissed the mounting pressure and suggested that his level of superiority is why everyone wants to see him fight Tom Aspinall. In the words of fans, it wasn't confidence, it was a quiet flex. Jones said clearly, the sole reason this fight's being scheduled is because he's that good, and there aren't many challengers left.
You know, I don't want to sound arrogant, but I think what it is being so good at what I do that it's just almost never enough. I'm very aware that, you know, that the Tom Aspinall is like, it's making more headlines than Stipe. You know, when I win, there's always an excuse, well, oh, he really wasn't that well-rounded, and it's hard to compare to any other fighter because I don't think any other fighter in our sports history has ever had to deal with it. You know, I just beat Cyril Gain, and we can go back in a time machine and hear the way that people talked about Gain. You know, and then as soon as I beat him, he's like, oh, well, he wasn't that, or he's this, and like, so it's a very interesting place to be in, and it just is what it is.
Later down the line, Jon Jones responded to Tom Aspinall's fight record by saying he hasn't fought enough champions to be worthy of a bout with him. Tom retorted in style and confidence, reminding Jon that he is the champion, hence he should be more than willing to accept that fight. The exchange only fueled the increasing rivalry, with both fighters not backing down in style like true heavyweights.
And of course, it's been pretty interesting, all the stuff that Jon Jones has been saying to the media this week, and I'm sure there's more to come, but check out these.
You're beating guys who aren't even champions, and you consider yourself a champion. He's not a champion.
So Jon said I need to fight more champions, but this is the problem I've got. Jon is the champion, and he won't fight me. And he says that he won't fight me because it's too much of a gamble.
Aspinall to me is no difference than an Owen St. Prude or Dominic Reyes or Anthony Smith. They're like just another up-and-comer that's exciting right now. And I'm not into gambling my legacy for what's exciting.
And Jon, if you're not into gambling your legacy, that to me Sounds like he's scared of losing against me.
But Robert Whittaker wasn't having any of this and blew past the facade. Speaking up with his characteristic acerbic insight, Whittaker called out Jon Jones's antics for what they actually were, sheer trolling. While fans argued over arrogance and terror, Whittaker pierced the din, proposing that Jones is merely stirring the pot, playing the game, and remaining at the helm of the attention.
It's hard, dude. I can, at this point right now, I can kind of see Jon Jones just trolling the hell out of like Tom Aspinall, dude. Like I can see him like signing it, doing 5 months, and then just retiring. I think he's trolling him at this point. It's rough. Aspinall's just wasting away. A lot of Jones fans have just jumped ship.
But maybe he's looking to properly like bulk up in the right places.
Maybe.
Well,
Or he's trolling. I'm just happy it's not my division, dude.
Meanwhile, back when the Stipe fight hype was building, Dana White guaranteed that the winner would have to fight Tom Aspinall next. Nowadays, this old video of Dana claiming this guarantee has been dug up and is causing him to come under intense pressure from the fans and the media. With that matchup becoming increasingly popular, Dana's words are now being used against him, making it more difficult than ever for the UFC to put it off or avoid the fight.
Do you want to see the winner fight Tom?
The winner should absolutely fight Tom. Who's got the next question?
Knock it off.
Yet, in the company of Tom Aspinall, Jon Jones's recent antics have started to annoy an increasing number of fighters and analysts alike. At the forefront is Michael Bisping, who did not mince words in voicing his annoyance. Bisping, who has never been afraid to speak his mind, questioned Jones's attitude and motivation, implying that all the hypocrisy and posturing are beginning to get on people's nerves. And he's not alone. The feeling is spreading rapidly across the MMA world.
But he's holding up the division, okay? Tom Aspinall, the interim champion, has been the interim champ for 70% of Jon Jones's reign. They need to fight one another. And what the F is going on? Why isn't this fight scheduled? And now, of course, we've seen all this stuff coming out about Jon Jones. He's not sure, he's tweeting, he might be retired, he might not be retired, he's living his best life. I mean, that's all well and good. Of course he's living his best life. He's had a successful life. He's one of the greatest fighters the world's ever seen, okay? And with that, he's made a tremendous amount of money. Of course, you're living a good life. But as the heavyweight champion of the world, you have a debt, you have an obligation to the fighters, to the fans, to the rest of the division, to your bloody self to prove that you are the undisputed champion of the world. He's not the undisputed champ because there's an interim champion. And I'm not saying this as someone trying to shit on Jon Jones. No, this is just the situation.
Even Demetrius Johnson echoed the frustration, citing the tension that's been building since the announcement of the Stipe fight. He asked why, with both the interim champion and the undisputed champ now healthy, the natural matchup isn't being arranged. For Mighty Mouse, it's easy. When both titles are active and both fighters are healthy, that's the fight that should be given top priority. Anything other than that just does not feel right to a lot of individuals in the sport.
I said this, I was very outspoken about this a while ago when it's like, I thought there was no point, my personal opinion, there was no point, and no disrespect to Stipe, he's an amazing athlete, amazing career. I thought there was no point for Stipe to versus Jon Jones. When you have a heavyweight champion and you have an interim champion who's defended the belt, who are both healthy, that is a fight that's supposed to happen. Stipe, and like I said, you know, mixed martial arts is the one sport where you can get a world title fight off a fucking loss. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine in the sport of boxing or the sport of basketball?
4 years, dude.
In 4 years.
Yeah, I never thought. Yeah, it's crazy.
In 4 years, you get a you get to fight for the best prestigious world championship. after getting knocked out.
It's weird. It's definitely
It's weird.
Yeah, it is.
And it's just, it blows my mind.
Furthermore, Chael Sonnen also expressed his exasperation with the situation. Famous for his blunt and to-the-point opinions, Sonnen criticized the prolonged drama and urged the UFC to concentrate on making the correct fights occur rather than getting bogged down by distractions. His statement lent more gravity to the increasing list of fighters and pundits looking for answers and action within the heavyweight division.
John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. It's not gonna happen. I'm over it. It's done. I don't even understand how John Jones is still holding the title. People coming out trying to get clicks. I'm over it. That's a quote. And that's only part of it by Robert Whittaker. When is the last time Robert Whittaker got pissed off? When's the last time Robert Whittaker promoted his own fight, which, by the way, he's got coming up with DeRenner, the guy that just stopped Nickel? Not for nothing. When is the last time Robert Whittaker let loose? He's also correct. I mean, it's very fascinating. The psychology behind the fight business. It's just like the psychology behind the professional wrestling business. That's the part. That's the magic. It either exists or it doesn't.
Not holding back, Chael criticized even more, holding John Jones accountable for denying other fighters the same chances that past champions provided him. Sonnen spoke about how Jones's strategy is ruining the very culture and the very spirit that made the original UFC what it stands today, an environment in which the top contenders have their due turn. Sonnen claimed that such behavior will seek to debase the competitive integrity and the legacy of the sport in itself.
To the masses, it's getting to the point where they're not positive they can get it. I hypothesize that the audience has to be a willing participant in the acceptance of a fight, but also in the game. Also in the foreplay of the fight, of the cat and mouse. And that the audience now feels left out. The audience now not knowing who the champion is. And you gotta understand, there's not a huge risk right now. If Tom doesn't get the fight, at least in theory, Tom's next fight is for the championship. If Jones refuses the fight, at least in theory, Jones's next fight is for the championship. That's confusing. Robert Whittaker came out and said it. And Robert Whittaker, as a multiple-time world champion, has the right to an opinion as to who the champion should be. And he makes a very fair point. Just I don't even know how he still got the belt. He's not putting John down. He's not putting John's skills down. But every single fighter here, at the beginning, we take at their word. You can follow that back to the first UFC ever in 1993. We did not know how good these guys are. We do not know what a Kempo karate black belt looks like if he's good in a fisticuffs. We don't know. So we just asked him. That's literally how the sport started.
Furthermore, Daniel Cormier also supported Chael Sonnen's call-out, concurring that John Jones is not giving the same opportunities to others as he was once given. DC used his own situation as an example. Even though there was a huge difference in their ages, he still gave Jones an equal opportunity and honored the process. For Cormier, it's a matter of upholding the sport's history of respect and opportunity, something he believes Jones is presently falling short of. He also made the observation that John might be ducking because he knows the physical damage his fighting history has taken on him, and that he does not wish to risk taking another great hit.
I know that the first time I fought John Jones, I was 36 years old. I was 36 years old the first time I fought John Jones. 36 and 38 the second time. He's now what, 37, 38 years old? He was in his mid-20s when he fought all these great legends, but he fought them all when he was in his mid-20s. Now, he'd be on the other side of that coin. Right. This kid's young. Right. He's the older guy. He's been through the wars. It doesn't matter how great you are. When you go through that many battles, it will show. Gustafsson fight. Him and I just bashed the shit out of each other for 8 rounds. Like, we fought, we punched, we kicked. Reyes fight. The fight with the last guy, Thiago Santos. All those guys that fought him close. that takes its toll. I think that this kid is as dangerous for him as anyone he's ever been in there with, partly because that's not his weight class. If he's at 205, I bet if he's weighing 215, he would fight Tom Aspinall better than him weighing 245 pounds.
Yeah.
I
220 in his 205 frame,
Right.
he could fight Tom Aspinall better than he'd fight him at that 250, because while he didn't look as fast, he didn't look as
You carry more weight
he
now.
carried more weight, and Cyril just did some weird stuff, and John, you don't make mistakes against John.
Yeah. So if you're John Jones and you're fighting a guy like Tom Aspinall, how would you bring the guerrilla war to a guy like Tom? If you're
I would do
John,
exactly what he's doing. He's doing the right thing. He's no selling him.
Right.
Like he's acting like he does not matter. Make him just angry and just don't give him what he wants. Don't give him what he wants until eventually, yo, did you see the house John Jones just bought?
Hey,
John Jones doing all right, though. Did you see John Jones' house?
I said it. Congratulations.
John Jones doing all right, man. John Jones don't need Tom Aspinall.
Tom Aspinall has not simply called out John Jones, he's delved deep into the how. During a recent sit-down interview, Tom outlined the strategies he'd employ to take advantage of Jones within the octagon. With confidence and accuracy, he explained how his speed, timing, and unorthodox striking would be the deciding factors versus the aging champion. Aspinall didn't merely mouth off, he explained a game plan, demonstrating that he's not only prepared for the bout, but well prepared to unseat the self-proclaimed GOAT. This isn't just hype, it's a calculated challenge.
John, in my opinion, if you look at his body of work over the last 15 years, he's like as close as you can get to perfection as possible. He's like 37, 38 years old, but not only that, he's got 1,000,000 miles on the clock. So he's got a lot of damage on the body. He's took a lot of shots to the head. And that's not me saying anything negative about it. That's the reality of it. And I'm sure John Jones is aware of that. And he's fighting one of the most concussive punchers in UFC history. And I just think I can exploit it. Like, I think to get out the way of me for 25 minutes at this point in his career without getting hit once, and that's all I need is just one, I think that's going to be very difficult for anybody.
Though what led to even greater frustration for fans and fighters was John Jones's recent tweet, one that radiated retirement energy but fell short of an official announcement. The cryptic message had everyone wondering, sparking rumors and ambiguity. Was this a tease at retirement or another game of cat and mouse? Either way, it only served to further the building tension and uncertainty over Jones's future plans. A second tweet by John Jones caused even more interest, as he stated he had informed the UFC of his intentions long ago. Michael Bisping, however, was quick to challenge this claim, questioning whether Jones was actually being honest. Bisping noted that if Jones had indeed made his intentions clear, the UFC would have scheduled a press conference long beforehand, something that failed to materialize, allowing fans to remain skeptical.
Have to defend the belt. It's as simple as that. If you are a fighter, you have to fight. If you are a champion, you have to defend the belt. And if you're not doing that, then shame on you. Going back to his Twitter feed, someone says, yes, otherwise you'd have vacated the belt a long time ago because you don't want to fight Tom. He says, y'all barking up the wrong tree. I told the UFC my plans a long time ago. I have no clue why they haven't shared them with you guys yet. So that set off a bit of a shitstorm. A lot of people say he knows that he wants to retire, that he wants to walk away.
So you got 10 years left, but you're still active.
I'm done.
I don't know what the score is there. Only Dana White and John Jones knows the true story there. But I doubt that. I doubt that John Jones has told the UFC that he's going to retire. Because if that's what he said after this amount of time, after stringing the UFC along for so long, after messing around with Tom Aspinall for so long, if this is what he was going to do, they would turn around straight away. They would hold a press conference and say, you know what? John Jones ain't the man that we thought he was. Okay? He doesn't want to fight Tom. He's clearly scared. He's worried about getting knocked out. He's worried about his legacy. Okay?
But these tweets have created several ripple effects, some even benefiting John Jones. Chael Sonnen highlighted how fan interest and participation for Jones versus Aspinall has significantly dissipated as months go by without solid news. The prolonged silence and to-and-fro drama seem to siphon the hype, making fans less interested and hungry for answers in the division.
I have never seen a fight that we've wanted and been denied lose steam This fight is a smaller fight now than it was 3 months ago. Aspinall versus Jones, which, by the way, I don't maintain for you couldn't be resurrected. I don't maintain for you that it could be resurrected with one press conference or one Instagram live by Dana. I'm just sharing out. And I have numbers, audited numbers, on my YouTube page to back up my claim when I tell you Jones and Aspinall was not only hotter 3 months ago, it was hotter than that 5 months ago, and it is coming to an almost crawl. John Jones was in Thailand, and he's on the back of a motorcycle, and he'd been out partying. It was actually good that he was on the back of a motorcycle, right? And he says something about Aspinall. And 2 days before that, John's in a photo with Nate Diaz.
Thanks for riding with us on this intense analysis. The heavyweight division is hotter than ever before, and the question remains, will John Jones ever fight Tom Aspinall, or is all this just mind games and stalling? Let us know your opinion, so comment below. If you're loving this in-depth look, don't forget to like and subscribe for even more fight news, expert breakdowns, and all the biggest storylines in MMA. Stay tuned, stay stoked, and we'll see you in the next video.